from the Financial University under the government of the Russian Federation. Please present your paper.
Krishna. My name is Dmitriy Popov. I'm from Financial University under the government of Russian Federation, and my title of my speech, the problem of testimony, Gaudiya Vedanta, in modern context. What I want to tell that Indian philosophy is in area of global philosophy have very special characteristics, and actual for modern philosophy. So, and it is for Indian philosophy, it's very important to present in modern context, in global philosophy, because now global philosophy is European philosophy. And Indian philosophy, Indian epistemology, each school justifies its teaching by proving the effectiveness of its means or source of knowledge, mana. Therefore, the exposition of philosophy in India begins with the epistemology. We have several philosophers in modern academic philosophy which present Indian epistemology in modern context. I show several few examples in my presentation. It's just my subjective view. Gaudiya Vedanta in the field of Indian philosophy is the last broad independent branch that has absorbed the tools for the other directions and has spread beyond India. And this also have some specific which could be present in modern philosophy. But the first question is the name of philosophy, and in modern academic philosophy we have several variants of the name of Gaudiya Vedanta philosophy. I use the Gaudiya Vedanta because it's most short and also relates not just the names of philosopher in this tradition, but also relates to the place in which this philosophy is originated, and the founder of this Gaudiya and Gauriya, same word, different pronunciation, and for creation of the modern philosophical school for Gaudiya Vedanta, we must do some steps. Sorry for language, for my mistakes. Several steps. First steps is ideological work. Second, historical work and theological work, also comparative studies with Indian philosophy, and comparative studies with European philosophy, reconstruction for modern problems, and writes articles on our contribution of Gaudiya Vedanta philosophy to solving modern philosophical problems. The basis of the epistemology Pramana Tattva of Gaudiya Vedanta was the work of Jiva Goswami, who wrote the first works of Gaudiyas in the context of Indian philosophy of that time. Jiva Goswami begins his work in the absolute with the epistemology of Gaudiya Vedanta, main characteristics of all Indian philosophy. And this part of epistemology of Gaudiya Vedanta, he wrote in Tattva Samgraha, the first of the 6 parts of his fundamental work, as well as in more detail in the commentary entitled Sarva Samvadini. Baladeva Vidyabhushana, the chief commentator of Jiva Goswami, in the first chapter of Vedanta Samhita devoted to epistemology, examines the stratification of sources of knowledge by schools of Indian philosophy, Samandaya, Jiva, as well as classical Vedanta, emphasizes the 3 main ways, but all the others are accepted. All others source of knowledge is accepted. It's very important. At the same time, Gaudiya Vedanta stratifies the ways of cognition, of knowledge, in a specific way according to the degree of independence, expanding and transforming their context according to its ontology. In modern philosophy, according to Stanford Encyclopedia, there are 5 sources of knowledge: perception, introspection, memory, reason, and testimony. For the standpoint of the Gaudiya Vedanta, introspection and memory can be included in perception. Like Anumana Pramana, reason is based on the structures of intelligence, independent of experience, like rules, logic, mathematics, geometry, also. Therefore, the Gaudiyas distinguish 3 independent sources of knowledge: perception, logic, judgment, and testimony. Next problems is credibility of testimony. The main issue of epistemology for Gaudiya Vedanta will be the protection of the special status of the testimony, Shabda Pramana. For example, Buddhism can be attributed to the school that don't accept testimony as a source of knowledge, as does Satyanarayana, expanding the justification of Jiva Goswami. The Buddhists of the Yogacara school denied the independence of testimony as a source of knowledge, since trust arises not to the statement but to the person or the conclusion about his virtue, or the described perception of a fact, not testimony. Credibility of the testimony, this problem in modern philosophy, can be attributed to the discussion about independence of testimony. There were two approaches confront, reductive and non-reductive. There's no credence. Buddhist can be attributed to a reductive approach to testimony. This approach is more widespread in European philosophy, starting with the works of empiricist David Hume and the critical approach of Immanuel Kant. As shown by Alison Gopnik, Hume could have learned the argument of Buddhist skepticism from the Jesuit of Royal College, Charles Dole, with whom he communicated personally and corresponded. The reductive approach, taking into account this circumstance, also has a historical intersection. His position is that all knowledge gained through testimony can be reduced to knowledge through perception, individual experience, and therefore secondary. The ancestor of the credulism, or trusting attitude to testimony, in the European tradition is Thomas Reid, with his theory of common sense. In the absence of ground for doubt, we have a reasonable right to trust the testimony of the speaker. We are limited and do not have both the information for a sufficient basis for each testimony and sufficient capabilities for independent rechecking of all information received from others. Jiva Goswami gives an example of the diagnosis and treatment of diseases, example of specific properties of rare materials, the hardness, correlation and of diamond, iron. It requires the testimony of specialists to the acceptance of unambiguous model of reality. The trust in expert is most justified, since in the difficult areas I will not even be able to evaluate the arguments in various of particular position, and even having a talent for knowledge in this area, I will not have enough time or interest. This special status of the testimony is approved. First, problems, limitations of human cognition, human knowledge. Status and Barclay cites four lacks of human nature that limit his knowledge, according to Alexander Uskopov. The first three lacks relate to the perception and reasoning, confusion, limitation of sense. The fourth obstacle is the tendency related to the testimony, cheat. But is not fatal.
Dmitry, are you listening? Please conclude your presentation.
Okay, thank you. And Jiva Goswami renders the concept of Shabda testimony in a separate sense. In Gaudiya Vedanta strives to show that the root of all knowledge is the testimony in the separate sense, or rather the testimony of the God incarnated in the word, Shabda Brahman. The Absolute reveals itself to man through the testimony of the scriptures. Therefore, in order to understand the testimony, it is necessary to enter into the relationship with the Absolute, to receive authority from Him. That the first steps in the process of aesthetic formation, the relationship between the Absolute and man is called Gaudiya Vedanta, the path of devotion. And this is my conclusion. It was demonstrated elements of comparative studies with European philosophy and the construction of the modern problems on example problem testimony, Gaudiya Vedanta, source of knowledge, credibility, testimony, and limitation of human cognition, revelation.